Mr. Beauvais, I want to begin with you. The lead and copper rule may not nearly be as protected as previously considered. The Safe Drinking Water Act requires that the lead and copper rule be updated every 6 years. Are you aware of that?
There is a provision in the Safe Drinking Water Act requiring a review of the regulations.
When was the last time that it was updated?
2007 is the last time that the rule was updated.
Why is the EPA so far behind?
We've been working actively. We wanted to get advice from our National Drinking Water Advisory Council with regard to the revisions that will be proposed, and we also received advice from a number of other stakeholders.
How many years does it take to get the information in order to abide by what you are required to do?
This is a high priority for us, and it's essential that we move forward with revisions to the rule.
Is it a high priority for all of us? I don't know, Mr. Chairman, that there's been more of a catastrophe in government handling of an issue since Hurricane Katrina. This is absolutely a train wreck in every way, and the EPA is so far behind not doing the job. When will the updated version be ready?
The current schedule for proposing revisions to the rule had a proposal coming in 2017. It's important that we take actions, even in advance of completing any revisions to the rule, to review how the current rule is being implemented. Dr. Edwards and others have raised a number of important issues with regard to the implementation of the current rule, and so we're actively going to be working.
My question is, when will it be ready?
My expectation at this point in time is that it would be proposed in 2017.
Do we have your commitment that it will be early 2017?
I certainly would hope that the agency would.
You realize that's yet another year.
I do.
To get done something that should have been done, what, 4 years ago now? Do we have your commitment that it will be done in early 17?
I can commit that our work on the lead and copper rule revisions will be one of the highest priorities in my office, as well as work to address implementation of the current rule.
When Mr. Del Toro produced his memo finding the high levels of lead in the drinking water in June, where did that memo go?
My understanding is that Mr. Del Toro gave the memo directly to Mrs. Walters, whose home was the subject of the testing. My understanding is that that was then provided to a reporter and that it went out into the public.
Well, at some point, Mr. Del Toro was on leave of absence. Who worked on this issue in his absence?
I'm not aware that he was placed on leave of absence.
Okay, Mr. Edwards, let me go to you. Do you believe in any way that the EPA's management of this whole thing hindered its employees from having the ability to do their job in Flint?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, okay. Do you believe that the EPA's management made the lead crisis in Flint worse?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Who at the EPA do you find fault?
Susan Headman.
Pardon me?
Miss Susan Headman, who had the memo buried, covered up, and stood silent as Mr. Del Toro was publicly discredited for his work. When she was questioned by politicians from all parties, through as late as September of this year, she discounted that there was anything of concern in Flint occurring at all, and that includes Mayor Walling, people from the state government, as well as Democratic congressional staff.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, has the letter from John OGrady, EPA union representative, yet been entered into the record?
Sorry, which letter?
From John OGrady.
If it hasn't, we will enter it without objection. So ordered. Okay,
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me go back, if I can, Mr. Beauvais, to you. Are you aware of any other situations in Region 5 where there are where there may be the potential of contaminated water?
I am aware of a recent situation with regard to Sebring, Ohio, where there has been a concern with high lead levels in the drinking water system, of which EPA was made aware just within the last week. And my understanding is that action is being taken with regard to that situation. I believe that EPA staff have been on the ground, actually, as of yesterday in Sebring, looking at that situation.
What about other regions throughout the country?
There are drinking water issues across the country that we are monitoring actively and working with our state partners to address.
Mr. Chairman, my time has expired. I thank you. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman.